Welcome back to the Big Lad Podcast. I'm here with Tom. Welcome to the Big Lad Podcast. How are we?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. What about yourself?
Not too bad, mate. First of all, do you want to give yourself a bit of an introduction to the people listening and watching?
Yeah. I'm Tom. I'm a personal trainer from Liverpool. I'm 20 years old and I've been PTing since I was 16. So I got my qualification when I was 16 and from then I've just been posting fitness content and inspiring people from then.
Pretty young age to start out, isn't it? But we're going to go a little bit further back from that, aren't we? We actually met in a pub in Madrid last month whilst I was doing my high rocks.
It was eventful, to say the least.
Well, yeah, especially that late Darwin Núñez goal.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. So, first of all, obviously we got speaking in the pub, and you used to play football for Liverpool. How did that start?
Yeah.
Like, what age was it? And
so it was when I was like quite young. So around the ages of 10 to 12, I was there for 2 years. I was playing for Liverpool schoolboys alongside it as well. So it was at a good level, and yeah, that was when I was enjoying my footy back then, and there weren't really any stresses of being an adult and stuff like that. It was more just a kid playing.
Yeah, tell me about it. I moved out 6 months ago. The stresses of adult life are definitely showing. So, what was it like playing for Liverpool? Like, especially at that age, what were the expectations? What was it like? How many times were you training? And like, because obviously to the normal person that just plays footy,
it's obviously more intense. You're training a lot more. The training sessions are more like targeted, and just in general, it is a lot more intense. But at the same time, you're just a kid, like I said. So you're just playing footy, and you don't really think too much about it. You're not thinking too much about the future, nothing like that. So you're just playing your footy and just living your best life back then, just playing footy with no stresses.
Yeah, I can imagine. There's a lad I play football with, and his kid, he's about, I think, 7 or 8. He's playing for United at the moment, but last year he was playing, I think it was Everton, Man City, United, and Blackburn. So he was literally playing footy every single day. Now he's locked himself down into United.
It does take a toll when you're younger, but at the same time, you're just enjoying it that much that you just like put that to the side.
Yeah, he's literally, I think last weekend it was, or the weekend before, he went on like an international tournament in Belgium. So they're travelling at a really young age now.
Yeah, well, you are. But when you're at that age, you do get all like the attraction from all the scouts and stuff, and then obviously when you get older, it just becomes less and less. So while you're at that age, you will get loads, and then it just becomes less and less as you get older.
Yeah, I can imagine it sort of focuses down a little bit. But you said you were playing between like the ages of 10 and 12, and that was due to you having an injury, wasn't it? You had one of the elusive knee injuries, I believe.
I know, yeah. Could have went pro, but got a knee injury.
It's the standard joke these days, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But it is actually true in my case. I'll tell you how I got the injury anyway. So I was, again, like you were talking about before, you were playing a lot. I was playing a lot of football. And then I was playing futsal. I don't know if you know it, but it's obviously on a hard ground, 5-a-side, quite intense. I got took out by the goalkeeper, and then I landed on my knee, like proper hard surface, with the floor, and I went off injured. It hurt, but because obviously I was at that age and I just wanted to play football. For a full year after that, I carried on playing on it. So you could imagine like the damage it did to it.
Yeah.
Like made it worse to the point where like my performances dropped like significantly, and then that's when I got like released from Liverpool. I had a trial with Shrewsbury after that, but because I didn't tell anyone about the knee injury, I was just playing on it, and my performances weren't what they once were. It all went to the floor.
Yeah, I know all too well about knee injuries, as we spoke about in the pub. Like, I've got a torn ACL, a tear in my meniscus, and I've also got cartilage issues with my knee as well. But it's one of those you just want to carry on playing footy. And like, I did mine at a later age. I was about, I think, 20 when I first had the first knee injury. But it was like you, at the same. I didn't know whether there was anything up with it. I didn't get it looked at. I thought I'd just twisted my knee. And I went on and played the rest of the season, which I definitely shouldn't have done. And then it sort of just went away for a bit and then came back, and then that was the complete rupture of my ACL. And I mean, for some reason, I'm still playing Saturday League football. Just like you say, though, it's genuinely the joy of it.
It's the worst type of football to play because there's just, especially at that age now, everyone's just snapping each other, aren't they?
Oh yeah, there's always like so many late tackles and just general unfit people thinking they can get there.
I don't think anyone.
Yeah.
6 foot and like 100. I don't think anyone wants to go on a tackle with you.
You'd be surprised. But in terms of mentally and like personally at such a young age, how did the injury affect you? Obviously, you mentioned that you got released from Liverpool. Like, how did that affect you at such a young age? Because, like you say, you were just there to sort of enjoy football.
Well, I went into secondary school at the time, so that was a big change as well. So went into secondary school, then the injury happened, and then I just started hanging around with the wrong people, and then it took my mind off football for the time being. But obviously, that weren't good. But at the time, it took my mind off it, and I weren't really too focused about football then. But yeah, I started hanging around with the wrong people for a good 2 years. But like I said, quickly after that, I found my passion for fitness, and that's like what I'm doing today. So
yeah. So with the knee injury, did you have it actually operated on, or is it still?
So with the NHS, it's quite slow, isn't it? So it was taking like months between each appointment, and they were saying they weren't going to operate, and then they were saying, then I had like a scan, and then they said, oh yeah, they are going to operate. Then you have to wait for the operation. Then you get your operation, and you're out for another 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
So all in all, it was like 3 years I was out for, and that's like key playing time. So it's from going from 9-a-side as a kid to 11-a-side, total game. And yeah, that it was a long process, and even after the 3 years, it still weren't fully recovered. Like I'd get like kind of water on the knee thing where it just blow up, and I'd be over a few weeks at a time. But I'm at a point now where it doesn't affect me. Like I did a video today where since then I've squatted 180 kg. I've done a half marathon, and I went like hiking the other week. So it doesn't affect me in my day-to-day life no more, but at the time it did really affect me.
So with you still being pretty young then, I think you said you were, is it 20?
20, yeah, just turned 20 in January. So.
Is there no sort of want to go back to playing football? Could you go back and play? Is there potentially lower league clubs that you could start back off at, or?
Well, we go on to that. Obviously, I live in Madrid, so I've just joined the team in Madrid. So that's like the 7th La Liga is obviously the top, and then 6 tiers below is the team. Right. So it's at a quite decent level. I've just signed. Well, I'm signing on for them. I've just got to sort my visa issues now, and then I'll be signed on for. So I'll looking to do a season with them, and then hopefully just get back into playing football. Obviously, yeah. I mean, it's one of them. I know I've got a good ability. It's just opportunities and staying injury free. And obviously, I need to change my styles as well, because, like, as you know, you can get too into like bodybuilding type training, and it's obviously not beneficial for the sport.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I've for a long time pretty much trained like bodybuilding style, and then done cardio separately. But I need to sort of pivot a little bit and make it more sport specific. Because as you say, I am.
That's what I struggle with. They go into the gym and they're just slowing the muscles down, whereas what you want to be doing is speeding it up.
Yeah, you need to train specifically for your sport, whereas I've just trained bodybuilding style mainly because I just enjoy it. It's the easiest form of training for me to just go and do, and then I do my cardio on the side of it. But yeah, now at 28 and 6'4" and about 105 kilos, it's not conducive to playing football.
Not at all.
All the sports triathlons and stuff that I've been doing as well. It's just it's not really ideal.
Fair. Because whenever I get to like high 90s, my back starts going, and like my joints aren't fit for being heavy. Like before I started the gym, I was similar height, so like 6'3", but I was like 60 kg. So you can imagine like how much weight I've had to put on, and the joints have just not appreciated it.
You'd be surprised though, I was the same. So I started the gym at 15. I don't know what it is in kilos, but I remember weighing in, it was 10 stone 2. And now I'm about 16 stone 10. So I've put on a good 6.5 stone, yeah. But I think because it was over a longer period of time, like you say, I think you started the gym when you were, 15, 16, and you're only 20 now.
Yeah.
It's a lot of weight to put on in a short period.
It was. I put on, in the space of like a year and a half, I put on like 30 kg.
Yeah.
So that was obviously the fact of lockdown, and I went playing footy as well. But I put on about 30 kg, and I was eating like 6,000 calories a day, and then it was just a lot at once. I got like bad acne as well with it. My face blew up. I just looked different, but at the same time, my physique was looking the best it obviously ever looked, and everyone was saying about it. And like, you see the noticeable difference just even wearing a top. Like everyone was saying, like, in such a short time you put on that much weight, but it was just down to me eating so much.
I know about that side of things as well, like, because when I was between like 16 and 18, I used to row, and all I was told, I was just told to eat, and I was clearing between 6,000 and 8,000 calories a day without even thinking about it, just because of how often I was training. I was doing 9 sessions a week of rowing, plus a couple of weighted sessions as well, and I was on trial for Great Britain twice. And yeah, during that period, I was probably between like 14 and 14.5 stone. So I think that's roughly 90 kilos, I think. And yeah, that time there was like literally half an ounce of fat on me. Like it was, yeah, completely different to now. Yeah. Yeah, carrying a little bit more timber.
That's what I mean. Anyway, so when I was putting that weight on, it was just like unheard of. But then obviously I literally played football for like 3 weeks in when I went back to when I was like 18. So like men's footy, 3 weeks of playing footy, I literally lost 6 kg, and I looked like I lost 10% body fat somehow. But it's just like my genetics. I like that.
Yeah, I will tell you though, it does slow down as you get a bit older.
I know.
You're still young though.
Enough to keep it to a minimum anyway, the fat gain.
Yeah. So where did the passion from the gym stem from then? Like, was it to get stronger on the back of your injury, or was it just like a natural thing that you moved to?
So it was initially to get stronger for football. So I come back from the injury, and at that I was like a late bloomer, so I didn't grow till about 15, 16. But I started when I was like 14. Well, I was a late bloomer, so I was like 5'6", and then I went to the gym, and then at that time I was just growing as well, and then I got addicted to it, because obviously you see the physical changes, newbie gains, what they call it, but you see the physical changes, and then from there you just get addicted.
Yeah, like I think we're pretty similar in like the way we sort of grew up, because I was also quite a late bloomer. Like I had a growth spurt. I grew 8 inches in 6 months, which was very painful. Like it was very painful. I had like the worst shin pains. Like walking to school, I was in agony. But like I have a mate who's 5'8", and at the start of one school year, he was like a couple of inches taller than me. By the end, I was about 6 inches taller than him. And yeah, that was when I started the gym. I didn't start during the sort of growth spurt. I started because I was 6'2" at the time, and like I say, 10 stone 2. I was like stick thin, and I'd had a few comments from people I went to school with, because we went on a school trip to Barcelona in the October, and I was like, yeah, I don't really like this like skinny comments and stuff. I'd work out at home. Like we used to have like a pull-up bar. I'd do like press-ups and sit-ups, and we had some 3 kilo weights, but it's not really enough to gain muscle. Like there's obviously a limit to where that can take you. And then it was me basically nagging me mum and dad and being like, look, I want to go to the gym. And they were like, no, you're not going. I was like, no, I need to go to the gym. And then from then on, so like this was October 2011, I started the gym. So coming up to sort of 13 years of going. And I think the longest I've ever had out of the gym, bar lockdown, because I was still working from home, working out at home, was like a 3-week holiday that I went on.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, there is a big misconception about like weightlifting, stunting growth, and that's why obviously the parents don't let you go in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's not true. As long as you're not lifting like ego lifting all the time, then you'll actually grow even further.
Yeah, the issue with lifting at a young age is because you've got a risk of injury to pull muscles because your bones tend to grow quicker than your muscles can keep up with it. So obviously by weightlifting, you are shortening those muscles up, which can potentially cause issues in terms of them tearing as you are lifting weights if you are growing at like quite a rapid rate. So say if I was weightlifting during the time I had that growth spurt of 8 inches in 6 months, there could have been quite a high chance of me pulling a muscle just because my bones were growing that much quicker than my muscles, which is why I was getting those chin pains.
Yeah, definitely.
It is something that you've just got to be careful with. If anyone is out there young, listening and wanting to go to the gym, just be careful of how often you are weightlifting. So
it's what.
Go
on, carry on. Sorry.
No, go on.
No, I was just saying it's your form as well. Like,
yeah,
I always say, clients and whatever, just nail the form basics first, and then once you've got that, then you can progressively overload. But until you got the form down first, don't try it, because it's just not worth it. Especially like loads of kids, they go into the gym first session, they deadlift, put 100 kg on the bar, and then you can just see the back, and it's terrible form. But like later down the line, that'll more injuries.
I only tend to see that with kids who are going with their mates because they're trying to show off in front of their mates. You don't tend to see it as much if they're on their own because they don't want to embarrass themselves on their own. But yeah, ego lifting is one of the worst things that you can possibly do. Like you say, it's form over weight. I've been a big advocate for years on my social media. I'd rather someone drop the weight by 25% and hit it with perfect form and get that really good time under tension than trying to lift a weight that's far too heavy.
Yeah, exactly.
So with you getting into the gym then, you also started personal training at a pretty young age of 16. Like, how did that then, was it purely just a passion for being in the gym and then wanting to help others? Or like, what was it?
Yeah. It was more of a case of, obviously, it was during lockdown as well, so I would say I was quite bored in lockdown. But during that time, I researched so much because I was just so obsessed with the gym by that point. Like I said, it was like my whole life in lockdown. That's all it was: gym, eat, sleep, and gym. That's all it was. And then the results I was making, I was obviously satisfied with, and then I was thinking like I'd be happy to help people do that, and I did. I helped a friend lose like 20 kg during that period, and then from that I was just like, you know what, that gives me a good feeling as well. So when I was 16, I just went up to one of the PTs in the gym, and I just said, like, what PT course did you do? I want to get involved. 3 months later, I was fully qualified. I studied the all the books and that. Like, I was doing 4 to 6 hours a day just in lockdown off my own back. Just getting all the knowledge, doing notes on it, learning it, and then obviously you do your practicals and your coursework and stuff. And then so I started in the August, and by the December I did my last practical and I was fully qualified. But yeah, from there it's just been trying to get out as much as possible and help as many people as possible.
I think the lockdowns, as bad as they were, a lot of positives did come from it, just purely for the amount of extra time people had to do things like educate themselves with the PT stuff. And there's a lot more stuff out there that is useful than back in the day when I first started the gym, because I was similar to you. I wanted to learn stuff at a young age. So like when I think it was 15, going to the gym, I had the old school bodybuilding.com forums and stuff like that to go through, and there was so much bro science on there. And these days you've got the likes of like Lane Norton and people like that who are genuine like scientific people that you can rely on for information instead of some random fella typing on a forum that I had to deal with. And there was so many sort of misconceptions that I believed back in the day, just because there wasn't that sort of readiness of availability of information. Whereas these days, this was 2020 that you were doing this. There's so much more out there, but again, there is also potentially a lot more crap out there, but you've just got to find your reliable sources instead of some random fella commenting on a forum like I did. So with go on.
I was just going to say, there is a lot of misinformation out there, especially with like the views aspect. People just try and do it for views, and it gets people talking, and then like for example, Eddie Abu, he's a great example of it.
He's doing my head in.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. He's like, don't get me wrong, some of the stuff he says is obviously true, but then some of the stuff is just so bad, and like it's going to lead to people having disorders because it's just not sustainable long term. I mean, like telling everyone to go into a keto diet or a carnivore diet is not beneficial. It's not going to suit everyone's daily needs. It's not going to, like, people are going to binge on them diets because it's just not sustainable at all.
Yeah, there's a lot of sort of misinformation with it, isn't there? Like the way he goes about saying it as well, it's like a lot of scaremongering as well, like saying this is going to cause this is going to cause cancer, and this, that, and the other. Like they drop all these sort of words that people fear in a way to them to get views and likes and get their information more popular. But you've just got to, find, like I say, find the right people. Like I say, people like Lane Norton, people like Andrew Huberman with science-backed evidence that you can actually trust and follow. Yeah. So with the business side of personal training, it's not really something that's taught, is it? And especially at a young age of being 16, a lot of your clients are pretty much going to be older than you. So have you had any struggles with the business side of things? Because like I say, you are trying to appeal to people that are older than you. So you've got to have that almost show them that you've got enough knowledge to be able to support whatever their goals are.
Well, I'd say for the first year of PT and or like being a qualified PT and posting on social media, I didn't get any clients. I made a few like program sales here and there, but nothing to like say like, oh yeah, I've got clients. It's just more of a case of helping as much people for free, letting them like using their transformations, and then once you've got them, once people know that you can actually do it, then they'll trust you, and it just comes with time, like through consistent posting, consistent putting out knowledge and helping people and doing the transformations and stuff. Then it'll come to you. I always say it's like a sales job. It's obviously because the fitness for me is just second nature. Like someone could ask me a fitness question and I could help them straight away. And because I've just got so much research and knowledge on it and experience that's like my bread and butter. So the fitness side isn't the difficult side. It's obviously the marketing and the sales side, which you have to educate yourself on as well. It's not just learning. You become a PT and then you've got clients. It's you become a PT, then you learn the art of sales and marketing.
And especially with you doing it all online as well, you've got to be almost like a social media expert as well. Like for me, the personal training qualification is pretty shit. If we're going to be honest, like the actual qualification itself is GCSE level sort of PE with maybe a little bit more in there. But in terms of there being like a business side of it, that would probably be the most useful, because I remember hearing, I think it was on a podcast, that the PT industry is one of the biggest turnovers in terms of people starting up and failing a business within, I think most PTs are out of business within like a year, I think it was, that the podcast was saying.
With the first 75% of PTs just quit.
Yeah, there you go. So it is, I think you could be one of the most knowledgeable PTs out there, but if you don't have the ability to then sell that to someone, it's pretty pointless.
It is. It's just having the gift of the gab, letting everyone know that, like, basically why to come to you, because like like I said, it's an art of sales. If you can't sell it to someone, then they're not gonna be able to come to you.
Definitely. And I'm surprised there's not more PTs out there doing sales courses to help more people, because that would be very valuable.
I think there is though, but I think the people that are doing it aren't qualified to do it. Like they'll watch some like Iman Gadzi or something, and then they'll think, oh yeah, I'm a digital marketer now, and then they'll just like, for example, for me, I get messages every day on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and like, oh yeah, do you want to grow your business? And I feel like just saying to them, like, do you want to grow your business? Is that what it's about? Because like they've got no qualifications, or they've just watched a few YouTube videos and they think, oh yeah, I'm going to give this a go. But the PT industry is very specific, and like you need, if you're going to go to someone like a sales coach, they need to have like had PT experience and have done it themselves in order to obviously trust them and go with that.
Yeah, I get the same sort of messages daily on Instagram. The amount of things is like it's more focused to growing your Instagram, which then in turn can grow your business. But I think it needs to be more specific in the way to sell your products. But like I get messages off accounts going, "Oh, do you want to grow your Instagram? Want to grow your business?" And they've got like 100 followers themselves. I'm like, if you were that good, you would have grown your Instagram.
Yeah.
Don't be turning around to me and saying, "Oh, I can grow your Instagram by 10k in 3 months" when you've got 100 followers. It's not exactly the best case study, is it?
I mean, that it's pissing me off at this point now because it's just like it's all the time people trying to sell it to you. I mean, like I said, it's our job's a sales job as well, but you're not so much in the face and like reaching out to people, like and also it's like you said, they've got no like proof that they can actually grow your Instagram. They haven't got any testimonials. They just say, "Oh yeah, I'll do these things," but like who are you gonna trust on the internet now? That's the main thing as well. Who are you gonna trust?
I've seen some of these courses as well, and they teach like really basic stuff. They'll charge you like between £500 and £1,000, and one of the things that they tell you to do is message 50 people a day with this sales script. I'm like, that's not really worth £500 to £1,000. Anyone can just sit there and message all the people that follow them. It's really basic stuff. It's like, oh, go on someone famous that you like and go through their followers and message them and like their content. I'm like, it's not worth £500. You're not really teaching anyone how to sell. You're just teaching how people you're teaching people to be a pest.
Well, anyone who buys that, I mean, they'll quickly realise that it's not going to be beneficial to them.
Yeah, exactly. So we mentioned a little bit before about training towards your specific sports. Do you think sports affect your ability to build muscle?
Yes and no. So obviously there's a case for yes being like you, like we said before, you're slowing your muscles down, you're obviously shortening your range of motion, and in turn that's going to make you slower. It might make you stronger, but you're going to be less powerful. Your acceleration is going to be worse, and if you're doing, for example, football or even running or whatever it is, you're gonna be slowed down, and it can lead to more injury as well. If you're doing like you're slowing your muscle down with your weightlifting, and then you're speeding your muscle up with your explosive sports, that can lead to injury as well. But there is a case where if you're training is specific, so plyometric stuff, if you're doing that in the gym, then that's obviously going to lead to better results in your sport. Whereas obviously if you're doing bodybuilding type training, it's not. It's basically what type of training you do in the gym, which is going to affect it.
I think the main issue with most gyms these days is there's that much equipment crammed into a small space that it is very hard to do a lot of plyometric stuff in the gym, just purely due to space.
It is.
Especially if you're your standard 9 to 5 person that's going to be going to the gym at like 5, 6, 7 o'clock when it's rammed.
The worst time ever to go to the gym.
You're telling me.
For example, I try and go in the morning because I know that the gym's going to be not going to be empty, but I'm going to get on everything that I want to get on. Whereas I've been at 5, 7, and it's just, especially like for example for me when I'm in Liverpool, I go JD Gym, which is the worst for it. Well, Pure Gym, JD, the Gym Group, all them, they're the worst for it. So I think even if you go to an independent gym, to be fair, just that time period is not ideal to be going to the gym.
Yeah, the gym I go to, so I used to go to JD. I went to a Pure Gym before that. And it is an independent gym I go to now, but it's like a functional fitness high rocks gym. So it does have all the weighted stuff, but there's a big area for doing the functional fitness stuff. And when there's not a class on, that can be really useful. When there's a class on and it's like 5, 6, 7 o'clock, what they do is for the running element, instead of going on like a treadmill or whatever, because they don't have like them in that area, they run out of the gym, round the car park and back in. So sometimes if you turn around, you run, like you've got about 20 people just running at you. Genuinely don't know how they get away with it for health and safety stuff.
Yeah, I've seen that in the gym by ours. They just like run around the gym and then they'll all come in, sweat, and they'll carry on with like the functional movements and then they'll go back round. and then you're just doing like, if you're just on the gym floor doing whatever and you're just seeing everyone running around, it's quite funny. Like,
Yeah, it just looks like chaos. I've never done any of those classes, but yeah, it is getting
man,
a hell of a lot more popular because, like, I did the High Rocks earlier this year. That's why I was in Madrid, and that is getting so much more popular. Like, I had a look before, so like last year there was over 125,000 people that did High Rocks, and I think it is only getting more popular this year because I know people who are doing multiple. They're not just doing one and done. It's, oh, I'm going to do this one, I'm going to do that one, and I'm going to do this one. They're like traveling all around Europe just to do these High Rocks competitions.
yeah,
So like,
yeah, I know
moving
what
on.
I mean.
Go on. I was just saying,
Go on, you go.
what are your thoughts on like the hybrid stuff? Like, it is becoming more popular, but it does seem that anyone who does weights and a bit of cardio are calling themselves hybrid athletes.
Yeah, it is. It is a bit of a trend, isn't it? More than anything. But at the same time, I'm all here for it, because I think if you just focus on one side of like training, I think you just like it's just not beneficial at all. So if you're just focusing on your strength side, or you're just focusing on bodybuilding, then, and you're not doing any cardio or anything like that, then you're obviously affecting your health, like your heart health. If you're not doing cardio in the long run, it's not going to be beneficial. So if you're doing both, I think I'm all here for it, because I also don't think cardio like makes like stunts your muscle growth, because they say obviously cardio kills gains, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's more just making sure you're eating enough calories while you're doing your cardio, and then making sure you're eating enough protein.
Well, that's purely
But
it,
like
isn't
in
it?
terms of high rocks, in terms of high rocks and that, I'm all here for it, because like if you, like for example, for you went to Madrid for a high rocks competition, like that's a good few days out. You're obviously with your mate. We went to the pub when Liverpool was on, and it's good social aspect as well, not just the obviously getting fit aspect. And it's also very hard as well, very challenging. So you're obviously overcoming barriers by doing it in general.
Oh, mate, it is tough. Like I say, especially like 100, I think it was about 105, 107 kilos when I did that High Rocks. And me and my mate, we didn't really
That,
train anywhere near enough for it. So come the day, like, not only that, I'd had food poisoning the week before, and then the day before we flew out to Madrid, we were up at 3 a.m, so barely slept. Then we did 22,000 steps around Madrid, just mooching about, looking at stuff. And then had a crap night's sleep in the hotel and had to get up and do the High Rocks. So we really didn't have like the best prep for it, but we came out with a decent time. We know what we need to do for next time. We can definitely get down towards like the hour mark of it with a bit more training and a bit of weight loss for me mainly.
have you got any more in the future, or?
I haven't, no, but I said this on a solo podcast. I've found an event in Manchester which is like a collaboration between Just Row and the British Rowing organisation, and it's not like it's not a High Rocks sort of style event, but it's different to the standard rowing events. So like usually you'd enter, it'd be a 2,000 meter, a 500 meter, or like a relay. This one, you get like an hour time slot, and there's 4 workouts. So workout A starts at like 0 minutes on the clock. So it's a 4-minute row, then a 2-minute rest, a 3-minute row, 2-minute rest, 2-minute row, 2-minute rest, 1-minute row. And then, so that takes you, I think that takes you to 20 minutes. That's workout A. So you get like a score on that. Workout B and C are combined. They start at the 25-minute mark. So you get like a 5-minute rest. And then that is a 12-minute row for distance, but the first 3 minutes are taken as your workout B. So whatever distance you get in those first 3 minutes, you get a score on that, and then you get a score for the full 12 minutes. So then that takes you up to 37 minutes on the clock. So you then have like an 8-minute rest, and then at 45 minutes, it's a 1 minute flat out. So it's kind of like an endurance sprint event. It's not a standard event. It's similar to High Rocks in the fact that it is like more of a hit session. So I'm half tempted to do that. That's 5 weeks today. But what I'm doing literally after this podcast, I'm going to go and do it at the gym and see how I get on and go from there, really. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
I mean, I haven't High Rocks before, but I do like it. Looks fun. I'd like to do it, to be fair. Obviously, I'd need to educate myself more on obviously the exercises and stuff, and I'd also need to get a lot fitter because right now I'm definitely not fit enough to do it. But in the future, I'd definitely do it. I
Yeah,
mean,
the
like you said, with the
exercises aren't
hybrid
that
athlete,
bad.
are they not now?
The exercises, yeah, I think you'd be sound with the exercises. It's the running that does you in because it is constant. Like there's no rest. So you start off with the run, you're straight into one exercise, you're straight back out for a run. There's no time to rest. Like, I mean, me and my mate did it in a pair, so you do get a tiny bit of rest whilst they're working, but it's not really
Yeah,
enough to recover at all. And it's just like an
I
hour
wouldn't
or
mind the
so.
run. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
if
wouldn't
you're a
mind
good
the run.
runner,
I
yeah.
don't mind. I mean, I'd say I've got the genetics of a runner because like both my mum and dad did marathons and stuff, so like
Right.
that kind of like translates. Like when I was like 15, when I was obviously a lot lighter, I did a 5k in like 18 minutes, which is with no training, like literally 18 minutes, which is quite respectable. So in terms of the running side of things, I can get fit like within like 2 weeks. So I think I'd enjoy it, to be fair.
Back in the day, I used to be good at running. I'm not bad, like for my size. Like
So
I can, yeah, I can still run. Like I can comfortably go and do like a sub 25-minute 5k now. But like you say, when I was younger, yeah, I could do like a sub 20 a 20-minute 5k, no problem. But now being like six
yeah,
stone heavier, it's a little bit more difficult.
take its toll. Like I mean, I definitely know myself. Whenever I get past like whenever I get past 5k, I do start feeling it. But then again, with the running side of things, like you said, with the hybrid athlete, it's just mostly your running side of things are quite low intensity. So you're not meant to be going full out for like 10k. 80% of it's meant to be quite low intensity, slow running, and then obviously you got your 20% of like intervals and fast training. So the like yeah, I don't know. It's something different for everyone who goes to the gym because I've noticed the gym can get quite stale in terms of
Yeah.
when you're just moving away from point A to point B. And like for example, for you, you've been doing it for however many years, 12
Yeah,
years.
nearly, 12.5 years, yeah.
And there's only so many different exercises you can do for each muscle group. Like there's only so many incline presses you can do for chest, or there's only so many chest flies until it is just repeating yourself for years and years and years. So just adding that aspect of like cardio, of running, like getting new PBs, the high rocks, whatever it is, that competitive side, I think it's refreshing.
That's purely why I started doing like the sprint triathlons and stuff. Like I did a half marathon a couple of years back as well. Stupidly didn't train really for that either, but my aim was a sub 2 hour and I got a 1:58, so I was pretty happy. But yeah, it's like you say, you do just cycle through exercises. Like I've always been my own PT. I've never had a PT, mainly because of I know what I can do in terms of my injuries and stuff like that. I know my body best, obviously, and I just don't need the commitment, to be quite honest, to go to a PT. Or I don't feel like I need one either, to be quite honest. But yeah, it is just switching up those same couple of exercises for each body part, each sort of training phase. And I do prefer now training towards events and having that sort of specific short-term goal. That is partly one of my issues, is the fact that I sign up for these events like with 8 weeks worth of training, and then I end up going on holidays in between as well.
What I mean, it's a challenge, and it just keeps you focused because you can easily lose motivation. I mean, motivation goes up and down, but like you can easily lose focus. So it's just putting your focus back onto something and keeping it refreshing and keeping it new.
Yeah, with the hybrid stuff though, my only sort of gripe I have with it is the hybrid athlete thing is you're not an athlete, you're just a person that does weightlifting and functional training. Like, where's the athlete come from? Like, you're not sponsored, you're not doing it for anyone. Like, why do people have hybrid athlete in the bio? Like, I'm all for you know, pushing through training and doing whatever, but please don't call yourself a hybrid athlete.
Nah, I get that too. It's just you're literally just a person who likes to train and likes to keep fit.
Yeah, it's like me
And
playing Saturday League football. I don't call myself a footballer.
yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah, it is. You've got to put.
yeah. So you touched on motivation there. What do you do
Yeah.
to stay sort of consistent and motivated in the gym? Have you got any things that you fall back on in terms of discipline and stuff, or what is your way of just staying consistent?
Well, I think short term is the results. So obviously, like for example, for me when I first started the gym, the reason why I wanted to carry on the gym was because I kept seeing results. I'm at a stage now where I'm 4 or 5 years into lifting and I'm not going to see results every few weeks or every few months. So it is just a case of knowing what I've got to do each day. Like I've got to go to the gym 3, 4 times a week, and it's just getting that done. And once I've got that done, I know I feel happy within myself. And it is just the thing of like going to the gym, doing exercise, whatever. It's a feel good aspect. So like I couldn't do my job and work. I'd like my motivation would be so low in other aspects of life. I know what the gym adds to my life, not just the gym, but exercise in general. I know what it adds to my life, so I know once I get it done, it'll obviously make me feel better, and then my whole life will improve. Because, for example, for me, I wouldn't have tried my own business or whatever if it weren't for the gym. Like it builds discipline in other aspects of life, so I know if I go to the gym a certain amount of times a week, if I nail down my nutrition, obviously 80-90% of the time, then my whole life is going to see the rewards of it.
100%. Like, a healthy body is a healthy mind as well. So it does give you discipline in other aspects, especially if you can get to the gym on days that you don't want to be there. It makes it so much easier to go on the days that you do want to be there. And that can then transfer into other things. So, I don't know, say if it was something like you didn't want to go and apply for a new job because you were scared, or I don't know, there's plenty of things that it could then help you to push through in your normal life. And you did touch on something about making you happy and stuff. Like the gym, in terms of mental health, is one of the best things that I think you can possibly do. I've been in really bad moods, gone to the gym, came out a completely different person. The feel good feeling that you get after just simply going and lifting some weights is crazy.
Nah, it is, and it just keeps you focused as well. Like if you've got goals and you're reaching them, you're gonna get that feeling of satisfaction. It's not gonna be like long-term satisfaction, but you just get boosts of energy just from reaching a goal or whatever. Like for example, your first 100 kg bench press. Like I can't name a better feeling than that when you go to the gym and you've reached it, what you've been working for like 6 months or whatever, however long it takes, and you get that, and you just get that feel good aspect. You can't get it from anywhere else, I don't think. And it's the same with like if you just completed a run and you've just beat your previous time, you get a good feeling after it, and then the whole day you're happy. You're going to be nicer to people. You're going to get stuff done for yourself. It's just overall, if you get the gym or whatever you do done that day, your whole day is going to be better.
Yeah, massively. And I think I remember seeing like a report the other day, I think it was, they're now starting to prescribe exercise as a help for depression and mental health, I think it was. I may be butchering like the title of the report, but I do remember seeing they are starting to look at literally prescribing workouts and just general health and fitness to people that are struggling with mental health.
It doesn't surprise me. I mean, the reason why I'd say I haven't struggled with mental health and stuff like that, no matter how stressful life gets, is because I've kept my brain like refreshed from the gym. So I think it is a massive impact on like your whole life in general.
Yeah, definitely. And like you were mentioning before, you know, with the like the hybrid athlete stuff, there is like the hybrid side of things, the CrossFit, that seems like a really good community. Like I don't think you get that necessarily in the weightlifting side, mainly because it is a sort of quite individual thing. You just go to the gym, you might speak to a few people, but with the CrossFit side of things, there is a genuine community of people because you are all in a workout together. And it's almost like cult-like, I find, in a way. Like I go into the gym and like I speak to the odd person that I know in there, but there's like a whole clique of people. There's like 20 or 30 people doing all these classes that know each other, and they end up becoming friends, going on nights out together. And I think just that social side of the gym, you can meet so many more like-minded people, which is why I actually started my Instagram in the first place. It wasn't because I was a coach. I only started coaching maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I think. So it's a long time into sort of me actually going to the gym. And now I know quite a lot of people, but there's are so many more people that know each other in that sort of CrossFit community.
Yeah, well, the social aspect is massive. Like, I know, for example, my brother, he's been running from young, but he goes to obviously like a running club, and they go on nights out. They do a lot of stuff together, and every Tuesday and Thursday when he goes training, there's the running aspect and there's the social aspect. So I think it is massive, and like it's also a networking thing as well. You don't know what that person could benefit your life or whatever. So I
Exactly.
think it is massive. Like you said, CrossFit and stuff like that. It is a bit of a cult.
Yeah. So in terms of like the fitness industry as a whole, how do you feel about it? What are your thoughts? Because I feel, obviously, me being in the gym for the last 12 and a half years and being on Instagram for, I think it's 6 years now, with my fitness side of things, I feel like it's moved on massively since I started going to the gym in 2011. Like I was mentioning before, I used to go on like the bodybuilding.com forums and all this, that, and the other. And now you've got people starting off just posting gym content and going from 0 to 100,000 followers in, I don't know, 6 months.
Yeah. Well, it is a bit of a luck game if you're obviously a content creator in that aspect. Like, look at Sam Sulek, for example. He went literally from 0 to 100 so fast, and I wouldn't say he does anything unique. And he's just down to earth, really, and but it's not something like unique. But he's just seen that massive increase in following. But in terms of the fitness industry as a whole, I think there's a lot of misinformation out there, which is like my pet peeve with it. Because we touched on before, Eddie Abu, just people like them, just spread the misinformation, and then when you're getting told all these different things, you don't know actually what to do. And then you'll obviously go to a gym and you'll see people doing something like, for example, the optimal lifting and stuff like that. I think when you first start in the gym, you don't need to be targeting one like a single arm lat pull down. Just go in the gym, like load the lat pull down bar and get your form first, and then just load it up, and that's how you're going to see the results rather than targeting specific muscle groups and stuff like that. So they're the two things where I'd say the fitness industry is lacking, like the misinformation and then the training styles. Like there's no right training style. It's what you can do and you can stick to.
Yeah, there's an optimal method of, like you say, training, and there's going to be an optimal workout plan that is going to get you the best results, but it's not necessarily always like going to be able to be followed by certain people due to like lifestyle, potential injuries, just body in general, quite a lot of movements. Like for me personally, being tall in the gym, some machines I literally can't use because I am too tall to use it, and I'm not even like freakishly tall. There's a lat pull down machine in our gym, which if I put my arms up, my arms are still bent, and if I pull the lat pull down, the weight hits the top of the machine. So like it's stuff like that. So you could be on the other end. I've had a couple of clients who are quite short, like 5', 5'2", and they've had the opposite issue where the machine has not been right for them. So like you say, yeah, it's about finding what works for you and what you can stick to in the long run, which is going to get you the most results. Because if you are doing this optimal plan, then if you can't stick to that, then it's pointless even doing it in the first place. And just going back to Sam Sulek, yeah, he is the epitome of consistency. The man has been putting out videos on YouTube daily for something like, I think it's a year now. He puts a training video every single day, and they're nothing special. He is quite bland, I would say, in terms of like the actual videos. I've only watched a couple, but it is literally him in the car with a mic on his hat, filming himself on the way to the gym, just general thoughts, quick training video, flexes, and then eats. And that is it daily. And he's literally gone from, like you say, 0 to 100 stupidly quick.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think even just the physique aspect of Sam Sulek, it's not like it's a crazy physique. Like I could never have it, even if I took steroids or whatever. But it's like there's bodybuilders out there with a much better physique, so it's not the physique aspect, and he's also not producing unique content. So that's why I say it is a bit of luck. Like obviously, you said he's been fair to him, he's been consistent, but there is an aspect of luck involved.
Yeah, 100%. Sometimes you've just got to like ride the social media wave, and he's absolutely smashed it. Like I I messed my social media up, to be quite honest. So during lockdown, I was posting videos, literally daily workout videos on my mum and dad's front garden. So like there was people walking to the shops past us during lockdown, and I had a camera. Basically, what I did was I filmed a daily workout, but then I also filmed a load of videos which were exercises that you can do at home for, say, chest, for back, and like this was with weights or with resistance bands. So there was 2 different videos for each thing. So I literally wrote a massive list of exercises. I was like, right, I can do that with a barbell, I can do that with a dumbbell, I can do this with a resistance band, and literally recorded every single one. So daily there was going to be like, these are all the exercises you can do for your back at home. Because I thought, right, we're probably going to be in lockdown for a bit longer than expected, so I'll do all these videos. A load of them blew up online. I went from something like 1,500 followers to 5,500 in about 2 weeks, and it was like going up and up and up. And for some reason, I decided to get rid of all the blog accounts. So, you know, all the fake ones. I was like, stuff it, I'm just going to get rid of them. I ended up getting rid of about 2,000 accounts. And then, literally since then, my Instagram has been dead. Like, it's not moved really from, like, I think I'm on like 3,200 or something now, 3,300.
Do you reckon that's like a rhythm issue, or just in general, just the different like type of content we moved out of lockdown, or what do you think?
So this was right at the start of lockdown, so there was still loads more lockdown content that came. It literally from one day to the next, it just didn't reach anyone anymore, and I wasn't doing anything different. It was literally because I got rid of 2,000 accounts in like 2 days. And to be fair, some of them may not have even been black, so I should have just left it and just let it go, because who knows where it could have gone. But yeah, literally since then, it's like I've had a black mark against my account.
Yeah, at least you've learned from it though. Now you know not to get rid of them.
Yeah, well that's it.
But
so
I do want to touch onto this because it's quite funny what I was doing for lockdown for like progressive overload. I'd literally load up like some random bar. It wouldn't be like an Olympic barbell. It was just like some pole in my garden, and I'd have like some plates. They were from like Argos or something, and then I'd put bricks on top of them. So every session I'd try and add a brick, and then in the end I'd literally have bags either side, 2 bags, and there'd be like 10 bricks in each side, and I'd just be like, whatever I was doing, I was just loading bricks each time. So I was trying to obviously increase the reps at first, and then once I'd get like 12 reps, I'd just add a brick either side. I just thought that was quite funny in terms of obviously like I put a few on my TikTok, and everyone just laughs at it because it's just like you're progressively overloading by just adding bricks.
Yeah, some of the videos I saw during lockdown were pretty creative. I saw people in the end, they were getting buckets and pouring concrete into them and creating their own like weights.
I seen that. That was good though. I mean, that's why I think the lockdown weren't a bad thing, because obviously, like for example, for me, it got me in the gym. Like, well, got me obsessed with the gym, and then that in turn obviously made me a personal trainer. But just the consistency aspect as well, just knowing that like you can't go to a gym, but you're doing what you can to obviously try and keep the result going.
Yeah, definitely. Like I was quite lucky during the lockdown because we had a few little like old weights that we had, and then luckily one day our neighbour was like, hey, do you want these 20-kilo dumbbells? They're a bit too heavy for me, I'm probably not going to use them. And I was like, yes. So like there was so much I could do then with 20-kilo weights. And then my brother started kitting out the garage, so he got a barbell, a pull-up bar, a squat bench rack. So that came in quite handy. That was probably later on during the lockdown, to the point where you were allowed to sort of sneak out a little bit and go and do other bits. So yeah, we were quite lucky in terms of lockdown. The only thing was that me and my other 2 brothers were trying to all work out at the same time after work. So it was like, hey, I need the 20 kilos, I need this, I need that.
I know what you mean. By the second lockdown though, I invested into some like weights. So I did get the Olympic barbell and like the plates, the Olympic plates as well. So by the second lockdown, I was prepared, because like I got to a point where I literally couldn't load the bars anymore. Like the bricks, it'd take up too much space or whatever. And also it was like 6 months on, we had that period where you could go back to the gym.
Yeah.
And in that period, I was still eating like 6k calories, so you could imagine how much strength I put on. And then obviously by the second lockdown, I just had to invest into some like a barbell and some plates, but they took so long to come just because everyone was ordering
Oh
them
yeah.
again, and then the price inflated so much as well. Like
Yeah, I
it
remember
was
seeing the
crazy. Some of
prices. Yeah.
like the second hand eBay prices were like what the first hand was before, and then the first hand ones had doubled or tripled in price.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy. And then I remember after the lockdowns, everyone was trying to sell all their gear off because they didn't need it
Yeah,
anymore because they could go back to the gym. And everyone was stuck with all this home workout stuff. But like my brother, he just still works at home. He doesn't like going to the gym, so he'd prefer to just be in the
yeah.
garage and do the workouts there. But yeah, where can everyone find you on social media, Tom?
So I mainly post on Instagram and TikTok, but the Instagram is where like I interact with obviously my followers and stuff. So that's Thomas Woods _PT.
Okay, I'll put that in the show notes below. And if you want to send me
Right.
any other ones to put in there, I'll do that. But thank you very much for
Right.
coming on the episode.
Nah, no worries. I've enjoyed it, and yeah, like I said, we haven't spoke since I seen you in Madrid, but it's been a good chat.
I know we'll have to get out for a workout or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm going back to Madrid in the next 2 weeks. So I
Okay,
mean,
still plenty of
try and
time.
get before then, but I think it'll be a good workout, and we can get some content out of it.
Definitely. Thank you, everyone. My voice has just gone. Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you've enjoyed this one, drop it a like. If you are new, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.